You ever stop and think about what's really going on inside your body? Like, right now? Forget the big stuff for a second. Your heart, your lungs. I'm talking about the bustling, microscopic city inside every single one of your cells. And the workers, the engineers, the tiny little machines running the whole show? Well, they're called proteins, and they're the stars of our explainer today.
All right, let's just dive right in. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the secrets of proteins. I mean, these things are, without a doubt, the master molecules of our bodies. They do pretty much everything. It's kind of mind-blowing the sheer number of jobs they have. So the big question is, how? How do they do it all? Let's find out. Okay, first up, meet collagen. Think of this protein like biological rebar. It forms these super strong fibrous ropes that give all the structure and strength to your skin, your bones, your tendons. Yeah, it's literally the stuff holding you together. So what about movement? I mean, every single time you take a step, or lift your arm, or even just blink your eyes, yep, you're using proteins. Specifically, you're using actin and myosin. They're like these tiny molecular motors that slide past each other, making your muscle fibers contract. They're what turn your body's fuel into actual motion. And get this, they're also a delivery service. This right here is hemoglobin. It's the protein that's just jam-packed into your red blood cells. Its whole job, to grab oxygen from your lungs and be the delivery truck that carries it to every single cell in your body. No joke, without hemoglobin, we wouldn't last more than a couple of minutes. That's how crucial it is. So that brings us to the big question, right? How can one type of molecule be a rope, and an engine, and a delivery truck? What is the secret sauce here? What makes them so incredibly versatile? Well, the answer starts with something surprisingly simple. It all comes down to their basic building blocks. The best way to think about it is like an alphabet, a really simple one with just 20 letters.
So these letters are what we call amino acids. And a protein? It's really just a long chain of these 20 different little molecules, kind of like beads on a string, all linked up in a very specific order. That sequence, that order of the letters, that's the foundation for literally everything a protein is and everything it does. But here's the catch. A simple chain, that's not enough.
Because this is where the real magic happens. See, a long, floppy chain of amino acids can't actually do any of those jobs we just talked about. Nope. The secret isn't just the sequence of letters. The secret is how that sequence folds into a super specific, complex, three-dimensional shape.
I love this analogy. Think of it like origami. The sequence of amino acids, that's just the flat piece of paper. It has all the instructions written on it, sure. But the magic, the function, that comes from the folding process. That's what turns the paper into a crane or a boat or some other amazing complex machine. The shape is everything. And this folding process, it actually happens in 4 distinct stages. It's a step-by-step transformation from a simple string into a fully functioning machine.
So first up, we've got the primary structure. This is as simple as it sounds. It's just the unique, linear sequence of our 20 amino acid letters. This specific order is dictated by your DNA, and it contains all the information needed for what comes next.
Okay, next is the secondary structure. Now, parts of that chain start to kind of talk to each other. They interact with their immediate neighbors. This makes local sections of the chain start to twist into these neat little coils called alpha helices, or they might fold into something called a pleated sheet. These are the first basic folds in our origami project.
All right, this next step is absolutely crucial. It's called the tertiary structure. This is where the entire chain, with all those little helices and sheets we just made, folds up on itself into one big, complex, and very specific 3D shape. This is it. This is the finished piece of origami. And for a whole lot of proteins, this is their final functional form.
But wait, some proteins actually go one step further. We're talking about the quaternary structure. This is when multiple totally separate folded protein chains, we call them subunits, come together to form an even bigger, more complex machine. Remember hemoglobin, our oxygen carrier? That's a perfect example. It's actually made of 4 separate subunits all working together as one. So, there you have it. We've gone from a simple string of letters all the way to a complex, folded machine. And that brings us to the absolute #1 rule of the protein world. Shape equals job. The final shape is what determines the protein's specific function.
Just look at this comparison. It makes it so clear. On one hand, you have fibrous proteins, like our old friend collagen. They have these long, rope-like shapes that are absolutely perfect for providing structural strength. Then you have globular proteins, like enzymes, which speed up chemical reactions. They fold into these compact, kind of globe-like shapes. And that folding creates these very specific little pockets and grooves. We call them active sites, where other molecules can fit in perfectly. See? The shape directly creates the function. It's brilliant. Now, this whole shape equals function principle is so critical that when the folding process goes wrong, even just a little bit, the consequences can be devastating. And this is where our story takes a pretty dramatic turn. Let's go back to hemoglobin for a second. Okay, so one of its chains is 146 amino acids long. Now, what happens if there's a mistake? What if just one single letter in that 146-letter recipe is wrong? Well, that's exactly what happens in a disease called sickle cell anemia. In the primary sequence, a single amino acid, glutamic acid, gets swapped out for a different one called valine. That's it. One tiny change in a chain of 146. It's almost nothing, right?
Wrong. Look at the result. That one tiny change in the sequence completely alters the final folded shape of the hemoglobin. This new, wrong shape causes the molecules to clump together, to get all sticky, and that deforms the entire red blood cell, twisting it from a nice, healthy disc into a stiff C shape, a sickle shape. And those deformed cells, they get stuck in tiny blood vessels, blocking blood flow and causing incredible pain and organ damage. It is the ultimate, most tragic proof that for proteins, shape is everything.
It's just an incredible system, isn't it? And you know what's wild? We're only just scratching the surface of understanding the full scope of it. The complete set of all proteins in an organism. That's called the proteome. And exploring it, that's one of the great frontiers of science right now. And the scale we're talking about is it's mind-boggling. We thought hemoglobin's 146 amino acids was something. Well, get this. There's a muscle protein called titin that acts like a giant molecular spring. It's made of over 27,000 amino acids in one single chain. Wow. So if there's one thing to take away from all this, it's this. Your body is running on trillions of these tiny, elegant origami machines. Every single one starts as a simple string of letters and then folds into the perfect shape to do its job. Whether it's structure, transport, movement, you name it, they do it all. It's incredible. And it really makes you wonder, doesn't it? With that much power and complexity packed into every cell, what other secrets are they hiding?